Hi there and welcome to this DigitalOcean tutorial. In this tutorial, you're going to learn what DigitalOcean is all about. We're going to look at all this. I'm going to get here in a moment, but first of all, let's go and look at the different prices for DigitalOcean. So if you want a server on DigitalOcean, how much is it going to cost you? So just click here on prices to see the different pricings. So a basic droplet, a droplet is basically a server. Let's just call it a server. For a basic droplet, this is a price that you'll pay per month, depending on the features that you choose. So a basic droplet is a droplet that you can use to run your website. This is just enough to run your website. However, if you want more power, you can look at all these other options. Like you can look at general purpose, and this is going to give you more memory, more CPU, and more transfer. So if you're running an application that will probably require more resources, then you can look at this option, and you can also look at the CPU optimized droplets. You can look at memory optimized droplets, and you can also look at managed databases. If you don't want to deal with managing your own database server, you can just come here and look at this, and then you can spin up a managed database. And if you want to learn more about any of those other items as well, you can just click on learn more here, and it's going to give you more information about each of these. And then we have spaces. With spaces, you're going to get 250 GB and 1 TB bandwidth that you can use for the items that you store in this storage space. So in this space, you can store static content. Maybe you want a place to put images and videos, audio, and stuff like that. You can just put them in a storage space, and then you can serve them out from this storage space. All right. So if you don't have an account, go ahead and sign up on DigitalOcean. And once you sign up, you're going to end up on your dashboard, on your customer portal. So here, let's just go through this one by one, and I'm going to explain each of them, what they're about, before we spin a server. You can spin a server from here, but we will do that at some point, not now. So here we have the project. So a project is basically a way for you to group the different servers, the different droplets that you will deploy. If you work in a company, this is a nice way for you to group related items with the right project. So like for me, I've just renamed this as demo. So this is my default project. The moment you set up your account, you'll have a default project. And if you click on the default project, you can come here under settings, and you can change the details for that project. You can change its name and so on. Maybe in future, let's say I want to create another project, and for this project, maybe it's for Kotlin. So I can say new project, and I can give it a name like Kotlin. And then you can enter a description and what is the purpose. Just trying out DigitalOcean for me, and that's the one I'll choose. And you can create a project. If you don't want the project anymore, just click on it, and I go to settings. I can delete this project because it is not my default project. You cannot delete the default project. You're probably going to have one. If you just want a VPS that you can use to run your website, you're probably just going to have one project. And then from there, so a droplet is just a server. So maybe you want to spin up one of the different servers that you've seen under the prices. So if I come here under droplets, right now I don't have any droplet, but I can click here to create a droplet. So a droplet is a server where you'll install everything. You can click there to create a droplet if you don't have one already, or you can also come here under create, and you can create a droplet from there, and you can create any of these other different types of products provided on DigitalOcean. So here you can say the distributions. Choose the operating system that you want to use. You can just click there to choose a different. Maybe you have a specific application that requires Ubuntu 18 and it doesn't support Ubuntu 20. You can change the Ubuntu version there. Maybe you want to use FreeBSD, or you want to use Fedora. If you want to use Fedora, then you can come here and just choose that. And if you want to use CentOS, you can see you can get CentOS 8 up to CentOS 6. And then, of course, you need to choose a plan. So the plan, of course, is predicated on the type of server that you want to use. So if you want a basic server, that is the basic plan, this will give you just a normal VPS that you can use. You can also go with a general purpose if you want something that is high performant something that requires a powerful machine, you can choose general purpose or any of this. So this is entirely dependent on what you want. Right now, if you just want to host a website, you want to try DigitalOcean, you can spin up any one of these servers. And then you can add a block storage. Block storage is just additional storage for your VPS. Okay. So once you buy it, you can attach it to your VPS. So let's say I click there on add, you can automatically format and mount it on your VPS. And this is a nice feature that I'm seeing here. So if you want it to be added to the VPS that you're creating, you can automatically format it and mount it as you set up the server. And then here you can enter the size that you want. Maybe you want 100, maybe you want 50 GB. So if you want 50 GB, you can see that's going to be $5 a month. And any of this, if you want this, you can get it. If you don't want it, then just remove it. Now the data center region. So data center region, choose this based on your goal. What is your goal? Do you want visitors from a certain region, or is your website built for people in a certain region? If you're in America and most of your customers, most of your visitors are probably going to come from around New York or any areas that are around New York, then you can choose this or this. Okay. If you're in Netherlands, of course, and your visitors are going to come from Netherlands as well, you'll choose Amsterdam. And the same goes for this. If you're in Asia, Singapore, choose that. If you're in the UK, Germany, so on and so on. Just choose the area that is closest to your visitors. And then the VPC network, of course, we'll just leave it there at default. So if you want your servers, maybe you're creating multiple servers and you want different systems to communicate with each other privately, you can have VPC enabled. Okay, so this is just going to enable private network on your DigitalOcean servers. And then of course you want to enable IPv6. You definitely want IPv6 depending on what you're running anyway. If you're running a website, or any type of web application, you should definitely enable IPv6. And then if you know about user data, and this is something that you can do on DigitalOcean to run various things. If you want to run various custom things, you can do that here. There's a documentation for this on the website. If you want to see how you can run various scripts as the server installs, then you can learn more about that there. But I'm going to turn that off. And then monitoring, of course, you want to turn this on so that your server you can monitor your server. You definitely want to turn this on. And then SSH keys, of course, you want to set up SSH for your server, but you don't have to do it now. I do have a video about how to do this, whether you're on Windows, Mac, Linux, or Ubuntu. I have a version for all three. I have 2 videos. You can just find them on my channel. You'll definitely find how to set up SSH key authentication. I do have very intensive videos about this that guides you step by step how to set it up. So you don't have to set this up now. Right now, just set up a password. And this is nice. At least I can choose the type of password that I want to use. So there, you'll create a root password. This is very important. Note that you're creating a password for the root user. So just choose a password there. So make sure your password meets all these criteria. And then, of course, before you go on, click there and look at the password, confirm the password, and then click there, look at the password so that you can remember the password, because without this, you won't be able to log into your server. So make sure you look at this so that you can note this down somewhere. The next thing here, you want to finalize your droplet. So how many do you want to create? Do you want to create multiple droplets? Maybe you want to create multiple servers. You can do that here. And I forgot to choose this server. I never ever use Ubuntu. So here I can just choose CentOS 7, 64-bit. And what else here? So if you want to create multiple servers, you can do that here. So all these servers that you create will have these configurations. Region, let me choose region. I will choose San Francisco. I did not choose that. And then I'll enable that. Anything else here? Nothing. So, and then choose a host name. So if you want to host websites, choose a host name that is a fully qualified domain name. Okay, so like my website is bizanosa.com. So if I was creating this for my website or for an email server, I have to use I would have to use a fully qualified domain name, and I would use something like panel. So make sure it's a fully qualified domain name. Domain name. So that's supposed to be a dot. Okay, so this is a fully qualified subdomain, and if you want to host your websites and you want to send mail, you should definitely use a fully qualified domain name. You can use your domain or you can use a subdomain, okay, in this manner. So just follow this format and choose a host name like that. And then these ones you can ignore. You can tag this server, but that's really not important in any way. If you had multiple projects, you can put this server under a certain project. And then you can enable backups. Yeah, so this is $1 a month. You can enable automatic backups. So when you click on this, it's going to enable automatic backups of your server, and they will be backed up once a week, and they will be stored for 4 weeks. Okay, so every backup will be there for 4 weeks, and backups will happen every week. And once you're done, just click there to create your droplets. All right, so the droplet is getting deployed, and right now we cannot log in. Just let it finish deploying the droplet. So there's your droplet, and I just created this as a sample to show you how you can deploy your droplets. And once you do this, you can click on it to view all the details about this droplet, and you can see this is CentOS 7.6. Every detail about this, you can resize it. You can increase the size of this. I don't know if you can reduce the size, but I do know you cannot go lower than your current price plan. You can increase the droplet. You can go higher from where you are. Okay, so if I was at 10, I probably would not be able to go back to 5, but I can go back to 15. So you can resize CPU and RAM only. You can resize disk, CPU and RAM. Okay, so all these options are here. Just choose it and the server will be increased for you automatically. You won't have to do anything. Everything will be automated for you. So these are all the details about the server that you set up. So let's go back into projects, and we can just click. You can see under this project we have this one droplet. So when I click on it, I can see all the details about that. I can look at the different things about that, the different settings about that droplet. So you can also set up snapshots. So a snapshot is just a backup of your server. So the difference between a snapshot and a backup is that the backup, as you saw while deploying the server, the backup is done automatically and the snapshot is done manually. So you can come in here and take a snapshot of your server. Maybe you've set it up, you've done everything. So you can just come in here and take a snapshot of that server. And you can look at all these other settings about your server. Everything else that you want to do with your server, just click there. And we're going to look at this in a moment. So first of all, before we go there, let's just talk about all these different things that we have here. So here we have droplets. We know what droplets are by now. These are your servers that you've deployed. If you deploy any server, it will be listed here under your droplets. And then the next thing that we have here, Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is just a way for you to manage and scale up your containers, application containers. So if you know about Kubernetes, you know that it can be a bit daunting to set up and just to get everything up and running. So with that in mind, DigitalOcean has this option here. You can come in here and you can set up your Kubernetes environment as fast as possible without worrying about setting up. Everything will be automated by DigitalOcean, and you can start from $10 a month. And then the next thing here we have is volumes. Volumes are extra spaces. While I was creating the droplet, you saw there was an option to add additional storage. So I could have selected that and my volumes would have been shown here. And you can also add a volume. So if you click here, you can add a volume and you can attach it to a droplet that you've already set up. And then databases, these are managed databases. So DigitalOcean will take away the pain of managing your database server. If you don't want to deal with that, you can just come in here, and I think it starts at $15 a month, and you can read more about all the options and everything that you'd need to do and how you'd get it to work. So these are the supported databases at the moment. So just go ahead and read more about this, because everything you want to know about this is here. Everything you want to know about this can be found down here. Just scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you can read all the tutorials and the product documentation for all this. Anything else that I've looked at here, you can also scroll all the way down, and you'll always find some help text that will help you to find your way around. And then let's go to Spaces. And Spaces, as we said, this is different from this in that with Spaces you can store static content, and you can access that content maybe through your website, and they do have a CDN that will make accessing the content much faster. And you can look into this and see how to implement it on your application or website using all the documentations that we have here. And then we have images. So images, if you want to maybe use an old operating system, you can come in here. Let's start with custom images. You want to use a specific operating system, you can upload it to DigitalOcean. You can import from a URL. So maybe it's on Dropbox or wherever you put it. You can import from a URL, or you can upload it, or you can just drag in the operating system here. Drop in the ISO file right there, the image of the operating system in there. And then you can set up your server from that. And we have container registry. So if you do have containers, maybe you're using this Kubernetes, you can look at this and see what it's all about. And snapshots, as we said, these are manual backups that you do of your server. So just come in here and choose the droplet there, and then you can give it a reasonable name, something that will make it easy for you to recognize. And then you can take the snapshot. So I don't know that snapshots are free in DigitalOcean. I'm not sure about that. Just confirm. And backups, this, as we said, when you enable this, you're going to just choose a droplet. And once you enable this, backups will happen for that particular droplet, for that server every week, and it will be stored for 4 weeks. So if that's something that you want, come in here and set it up. If you didn't set it up under droplets, let's come here under networking. And networking, if you want DigitalOcean to handle your DNS records, you can do that as well. So you can just come in here and enter your domain. Let's say I want DigitalOcean to manage my domain, my DNS records. Let me use an example like. So of course the website is not here, it's being managed somewhere else, but I can use DigitalOcean. I can just do that, and then I will add domain. So of course it's for this project. I can add the domain. And then as soon as I do add the domain, I will have the option to add all the other records. But first of all, the first thing I have to do is I have to go wherever I bought this domain. Okay, wherever I bought this domain. And then I will change the name servers to all these three. Okay, so change your name servers to all these three. Okay, you see this switcher here, this NS1, NS2, NS3. Change your name servers to that. And then when people try to access this, they will be guided to DigitalOcean, and DigitalOcean will look at the records that you have, and then will show them the relevant websites that they are supposed to see for the domain that they access. So once you do that, you can come in here and you can add your A record and add your IP address. You can add your IPv4, your IPv6, records right there. You can add your IPv6 address. You can do CNAME records, MX, and so on. So first of all, the first thing you have to do, go wherever you bought it from, and then you change the name servers to that. And then DigitalOcean will be able to manage your DNS records. And I think this is free for every server that you have on DigitalOcean. So this will not cost you anything. And monitoring, if we did turn on monitoring, you can create an alert policy for the server that you set up. Okay, so maybe CPU, if your CPU usage goes above 70, for more than that, and then select droplets or tags. So I have a droplet. What's the name of that droplet? Yeah, panel 80. Yeah. So I will choose the droplet. I want to set that policy for this. So there, choose CPU is above 70% for 10 minutes. Call it whatever. And then just create the policy. You can create another alert policy. Maybe this time round, your bandwidth, outbound bandwidth is above this Mbps, above this speed. Then something fishy is going on in your server. So you may want to type, you may want to get an alert for that. So that's just something you can do with DigitalOcean. And then finally, let's look at Marketplace. So maybe you want one-stop solution for something. Maybe you want to run WordPress, or you want to run a Django application, or you want to install cPanel, and you don't want to go through the hassle of setting up all these things on your server on your own. Then you can just come in here and you can search. So if you scroll all the way to the top here, you can search. Maybe you want to install cPanel. You can see there's a solution for that. There's also CyberPanel and so many more. So maybe you want to run Django. Maybe you want to run Django, you want to run WordPress. You can just do a one-click installation for all this, and everything that is needed to run the website will be installed without you having to do anything. So you can just click there and you can read more about it. You can see you can just click there, and if the operating system is the one that you want to use, then well and good. Sometimes you may not want to use this operating system, so that means that you'll have to do everything on your own. So that's pretty much it about this. Here under settings, come in here under settings and enable two-factor authentication. Go under security and then enable two-factor authentication. Okay. And if you want to become an affiliate, you can also come here and give referrals for DigitalOcean users, and you'll earn credits. So if you can be a good referrer, you can actually run your server on DigitalOcean for free. So if you refer people, they will get 100 and you get 25 credit on your $25 credit on your account. And I think this runs out after a while. So if it's not used, it's going to run out. I think it's like a year. After a year, if you don't use it, it becomes useless. So if you want to run your server for free, you can become an affiliate and promote DigitalOcean, and you'll get $25 credit on your account. And of course, before we even end the video, you must set up a billing method. So come in here and set up a debit credit card, or you can pay via PayPal. That's all here. And before you do anything, actually, I think you're going to need to set this up. Before you even spin up a server, you're going to have to come here and probably add some money, like $5, just a little bit of money, just to test the card or your PayPal method of payment. So if you go back here, let's see what we haven't looked at. Let's come back into Droplets. So here under Droplets, if you want to destroy this droplet, you can just come here under More. You can destroy the droplet and you will not be charged anymore. So even if you pause, if you destroy it, you will not be charged. You'll only get charged for the amount of time that the server was up. So if it was up for an hour, you'll just be charged a small amount of money. And you can do all these other management options right there. So if there's anything else that you want to know more about, you can just click on it and you can search more about it on DigitalOcean. And if you need support, you can come up here and just open a ticket. So if you need support, just come in here and start here. You can create a ticket up there if you want to contact support. And you can also pause the server, but just pausing it doesn't mean that you won't get charged. You'll still get charged. If you don't want to get charged, you're going to have to destroy the server. So if you want to know how to log into your server, set it up, and so on, I do have videos about that, and you can find them in the description. If they're not there, just remind me and I will add the link for you, or you can just search for them on my YouTube channel. So that's it for this DigitalOcean tutorial. You've seen what it's all about, and we've just done a walkthrough of how everything in DigitalOcean is used and how you can set up your server and so much more. And if you still need help with anything, there is a huge documentation. There are lots of articles on DigitalOcean for different things here that you can do. So just go ahead and check them out if you get lost or you need further assistance, or you can even contact support with all your questions and they will answer your questions. So that's it for this video. If you do have questions concerning this video, feel free to let me know. And if you want to learn how to use Vultr, go ahead and watch my Vultr tutorial, which is also available on my channel. So I will see you next time in another video.